Happy Veterans Day, even though you're not a veteran, but we do have a
Well,
member of this podcast that is.
yes,
So
we
thanks,
do.
thank you, and happy Veterans Day to TC.
You are a veteran of the podcast, though,
I guess I wouldn't consider that the
and
same
a
though.
founding member.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that the same though.
No, not the same, but
No.
still, happy Veterans Day to you as well, and to
And
all the veterans that are out there.
to all the vets, and wish I had a thought and then I forgot it. I just had a
It happens. It happens to the
yeah,
best of us. Trust me.
yeah, it does.
It gets worse when we
Anyways,
get older. By the way.
anyways, so we ended last podcast hope with a little bit of hope that we would have something a little bit more positive to talk about this week, and it seems like there are a little bit more negatives than there were positives.
Yeah,
That game against Kamloops on Tuesday
that was
was
not good.
atrocious.
That was not good.
We recorded our episode 2.5 hours, 3 hours before that game, and then going in, and we didn't really think that we were going to have that kind of an outcome, and
Mm,
unfortunately, we did.
We did not. Yeah. Did you?
Um,
Did you see that coming? Did you think that? Did you also feel like there was only one team that showed up for that game?
yeah, I definitely did.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing well, okay. I don't think that the Chiefs necessarily were like 100% terrible
No.
in that game. I think they had a hot goaltender, and
Again, we find one of those.
And I think our defense and our goaltending really, really, really struggled. Both goaltenders came into the game. Carter Essler got the start, gave up three in his first four shots,
Hmm.
and then got pulled after the fourth, I believe. And then Linus Fjord came in and gave up a couple of weak ones as well, and they kind of locked things down from there. But realistically, the Chiefs only had to face 20 shots total that game,
Yes.
and
It was not like there was a flurry of stuff.
the
Exactly.
the Chiefs goaltenders only made 12 out of 20 saves. So
That's what makes it sound even worse. Exactly.
yeah, and so I think that was a big part of it, because if you take out that first period, it's a 3-2 Kamloops final.
Hmm.
The Chiefs
What did
outshot Kamloops 43-20 in that game, and
what do
pretty much
you
dominated in all offensive categories other than the score.
what do you feel like the issue was?
I just think our goaltending and defense just kind of forgot to come to the rink that game.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I mean, Kamloops, they're really good with their entries and getting into the zone quick, and kind of catching your defense flat-footed. And I think that was a big part of it too. I think the first two goals at least against Carter Essler were something that nothing he could do about. But I think everything after
Right.
that is for ones that he'd probably want to have back. And then the same with Viard when he came in too. I mean, the first goal that he let in was kind of a squeaker that we probably should have had too. And I just think once Kamloops got that early lead, they got the 3-goal lead really, really early in that game. I think it was all downhill from there.
Hmm.
Kind of destroyed all of us defensively and in net as well.
We looked dejected out there on the ice. I felt like a little bit
Yeah.
like almost like we expect. And I can attest, I was one of these people too that thought at some point some good luck has got to happen, not just bad luck. And almost like they were expecting it to happen and didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we've had a string of up until that point had a string of bad luck in some games and things with goalies getting pulled and different things too. Um, I don't know, almost like it's like can't this just end? The effort has been there. I feel like the last half dozen, handful of games.
Yeah.
It's just haven't had any results to show up for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I think for the most part, I mean, like I said a little bit ago, the Chiefs dominated every offensive category in
Hmm.
this game except for the scoring. Um,
So you're looking at the stats right now. What was the face-offs like that game?
Chiefs won the faceoff battle 46-20. We dominated
Wow,
Kamloops in the dot
that's
that
total
game.
domination.
Outshot them 43-20 in the game. Unfortunately, we
Hmm.
lose 8-2 because just defense and goaltending was just not there. And
Hmm.
while they only had 20 shots in the game, Kamloops picked their opportunities and made it
Obviously.
count. So I kind of had a feeling coming into that game, it's like I think a lot of teams are sleeping on Kamloops a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody was kind of predicting that we were going to see Kelowna kind of have a better start to the season too with all the
Mm-hmm.
acquisitions that they made off-season wise and then into this season too. That hasn't happened. They're still
No, it's
kind of
not.
hanging out toward, I mean, I think they just now got over a 500 record, um but Kamloops, man, I mean the acquisitions that they've had this year so far, and then
Quietly.
some of the guys that they have returning from last year, Nathan
Mm-hmm.
Bain, Cooper Moore, guys like that. Rhett Ravendal was acquired in the trade, a defenseman, and then
Mm-hmm.
JP Hurlbert, obviously, that guy had himself a hell of a game.
Yes, he did.
And so, I think a lot of teams are sleeping on Kamloops right now, and I think it might just come down to be, the thing that we say all these years is like, you don't want to sleep on the quiet teams because the
Exactly.
quiet teams are the ones that are going to come in and clap your cheeks when you're playing down to their level.
What used to be the Chiefs, but now we're not a quiet team anymore.
No, I
There's
think,
expectations there.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think Kamloops is a team that
Mm-hmm.
especially the BC division and the US division have to watch out for. But a couple of bright spots in this game. The power play finally connects
Finally.
multiple times in a game. Chase Harrington with both Spokane goals in the game, both of them on the power play. First one just a one-timer from the right circle, and then the next one was just kind of a wrister from the point that found its way through traffic. But um, I mean, if we're taking any positives out of this game, other than obviously dominating shots and faceoffs and whatnot too, that's another huge thing because our power play is so abysmal. And the fact that we can get two in a game like that, especially when we're getting shelled by eight
Mm-hmm.
goals, is I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's something to ride
Definitely
on, I guess, you
hang
know?
your hat on. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think we can kind of put a bow on that game and just forget that that game happened.
What game? I forgot about it already.
Exactly. So, it's at that point, Chiefs are down. They lost their last two games, two or three games, three games, two
Three
games,
games.
two games, two games.
Was it just that
Because
night
that
and
was
then Friday?
Tuesday, and then
Yeah,
Everett the night before, or a couple days before.
I guess. And we did the pod late too. Yeah.
Yeah, at that point. So, and then they're losing 8-2 to Kamloops, and then get another day off, and then hopefully come out against Prince Albert on Friday at the arena, the only undefeated team in regulation left.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little bit better of a showing, but realistically speaking, I think this game was. We had a worse performance than we did against Kamloops, like
Mm-hmm.
overall play.
I
Like,
would agree with that.
I think our defense was a little bit better to an extent, but goaltending was still a little bit shaky. I think
Mm-hmm.
Carter Essler got the start again with a chance to bounce back, and it to me, I feel like he got so comfortable early in the year with being so hot and being the top goalie in the league that, now that we're a month and a half into the season, almost 2 months into the season, that the weight is finally starting to come down on him a little bit. And that'll happen. He's a young goalie that has a really, really bright future, and I'm sure he's going to have some sort of a pro career. And so I think it's just kind of all coming at once for him. Nice. Where'd you find
I
that
had
thing?
I in the other room. I had it behind me this whole time, but it wasn't turned on and it wasn't lined up with the camera.
God, it's giving me a seizure. So the game on Friday against PA, what did you think we did better than we did the couple days before against Kamloops?
You know what? I can't remember.
You can't
Shocker.
remember?
No.
Well, what the hell?
Well, I've had lots going on in my brain the last couple of days.
Well, let's
But
just t talk about how the first
re,
period
re,
was very similar.
refresh me.
Well, the first period was very similar to the first period against Kamloops. We didn't give up five, only gave up three.
Only three.
However, still not what we want to see.
No, it was, and
Um,
it came quickly too. Those 3 goals.
yeah, they did. They all came within about a 3 minute span, and all just like that is 3-0 PA. Going into the first intermission, down 3-0, and then most of the second period, I think pretty back and forth.
Pretty even.
Kind of what I wanted to see in the first period. We
Mm-hmm.
saw it in the second period after we were already given up 3 goals, but um, Prince Albert would get one late in the period to go up 4-0 going into the third period. So uh, the Chiefs have a pretty big hill to climb going in, and we were the whole night we're just watching Prince Albert and these guys just skate circles around us.
Big time.
And just wondering when the hell are we going to get frustrated to the point where
And kind of lose it a little bit.
it kind of blows over
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of lose it. And
Or
we saw
boils it.
that about 7 minutes into the third period
We
with
did.
Hasanali Sarkinov finally losing
He
his
did.
shit. So there was a shot on net off the pad. Coco Armstrong found the puck on his stick with a wide open net in front of him. He buried it. Sarkinov had been battling with Christensen for the last 30 seconds prior to that goal. And they're in net front, and after the puck goes in, he kind of gave Sarkinov a little shove, and then they dropped the gloves, and Sarkinov just kind of beat the living shit out of him.
I feel like Sharky's been a little ticking time bomb for about 4 or 5 games now.
Yeah,
Quietly.
and so the thing with that was that they wrestled each other to the ground. Linesman stepped in, picked him up. Sarkinov didn't stop.
No, he did not.
He would continue to just wail on Christensen. Finally got him separated, and they take him to the box. He's sitting there for a couple of seconds, takes a drink of water, and then he gets up and bangs repeatedly on the glass, and then goes like this, the bench trying to get it fired up. And I was like, I fucking love to see that.
Exactly.
That's exactly what this team has needed the last 5 or 6
I
games.
agree.
Is
I agree.
somebody to lose their
Step up.
shit and then tell the team to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think Sarkinov did that. And I mean, I think from that point on, and I said this to you at the end of
You
the third
did.
period in this game, from that point on, this team looked a lot better.
They had
Um,
life again. Yes,
the
agree.
the
I agree.
the last 10 minutes of that third period against Prince Albert, I think the Chiefs dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kind of like we've had enough of this.
Mathis Preston got another goal, seventh of the year, with about just under 4 minutes to go in the third period to make it 4-2. And then Sarkinov's brother, who plays for Prince Albert, iced it with an empty netter about a minute later. But so little brother gets the final laugh. But um, like I said, I think from that point on, things were really good. Chiefs were 0 for 3 on the power play, but I actually thought on the power plays that we had, especially the power plays that we had later in the game, like in the third period, I think we looked a lot better.
A lot better.
Moving the puck around and not doing stupid shit with it and losing it off your stick or whatever too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pleased to see that. I think the power play has been a lot better the last handful of games. Regardless of if we're scoring or not. Obviously, we want to be scoring, but so kind of going back through that, what do you think about that? Like everything that transpired in that game?
I feel like it was a turning moment when Zarkanoff lost it a little bit, and I feel like his teammates rallied around him a little bit too. Like it kind of woke them up too. Kind of like typically a fight will do in the middle of a game and wake up your teammates. I feel like it. Unfortunately, it had to take to the third period to get there, but it woke his teammates up a little bit too. And I mean, passion. I feel like we overuse that word a little bit in our podcast every once in a while, but hashtag no passion to bring back an old one. Just kind of getting fired up and having it mean something. Finally, getting tired of losing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for the most part, they feel like they feel. I could be wrong. They feel like they've been competing and trying, but took it to a new level after that little incident there, and after the penalties were called on that too. It's like you said, Sarkinoff trying to get the team pumped up and going to it. These guys are frustrated too. There needs to be a release of something. There's a lot of pent up frustration there, which you will have that and testosterone in young boys.
Yeah.
But I feel like something need to boil over, like you said, and it finally did. It's nice to see.
Yeah, and I think that was very,
especially at
very,
especially at home. You know, this team has been pretty good on the road,
yeah,
but
we have.
especially at home, it's
Yeah.
nice to see that.
hmm On home ice, we've really struggled this year.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I said that too after Friday. I said, this team desperately needs a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And and in my opinion, the thing that's the most frustrating is this team is so much better than how they're playing. They have
By
the
by a
skill
large
level that
margin.
the skill level that this team has and the individual players that we have, like their skill levels is way too good to be losing this badly on a
And I
every
think
other
that's where a
night.
lot of their frustration comes from because they know that too.
Yeah, and obviously we should say this every week. There's still some missing pieces. But I think the most frustrating part is that this team is better. We know how good this team is and how good they can be.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that in the first handful of games in the season with their scoring touch and everything too, and the goaltending was there. The defense has been great. Just the last like 5 or 6 games, like this past homestand was really, really troublesome. I think
Kind
there's a
of lost
handful
their
of
way.
a handful of good games in there. The Saskatoon game was really good, and
Mm-hmm.
then despite the 8-2 loss against Kamloops, I thought that the Chiefs had their opportunities, just couldn't score. And if
They did a
and
lot
if
of
they
things
would have
better.
been able to find the back of the net, it would have been just a barn burner on both sides.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is a comment that you made to me during that game is this team is not capable of outscoring opponents like they were last year.
Not
We
anymore.
lost so much offensive firepower up front. And yes, we have a lot of it still. Like a lot of guys coming in still, but not to that level of the Andrew
Where
Crystals, Berkeley Cat, and Shea Van Olms.
with that team, if one guy was not firing, others would pick it up. And this team does not have that yet. They could potentially still have that, but they don't have that yet.
Yeah, like I said, I think the most frustrating thing is just the fact that we know that we've seen this team be better and we know that
Mm-hmm.
they can be better. They just have to find a way to get it done as a team and kind of stop trying to do everything individually. I think that's a big aspect. But
They'll find it. They'll find their way.
so going in the last game of the homestand against PA, the following night down in Portland for the first game of the year against the Winterhawks, I think
Cheaters.
a great bounce back game.
Yes.
A great bounce back game from this team. The first period, just defense kind of lacking on both ends, 17 to 11 shots in favor of Portland after the first period, and would be tied at one. Brett Saylor would get his third goal of the season, 13 minutes into the period, and then Alex Weiermeyer would score on the power play just under or just over a minute later to tie it back up at one. So it's 1-1 after the first period. I thought pretty even standard modern day Spokane Portland game
I
so
was going to say,
far.
let me ask you this question. Do you feel like that game could have, at that point, had the potential to bust wide open? I did watching it.
Honestly, not really, because I felt like Linus Viard was really, really locked in this
I,
game, and
but
and same with Portland's goaltender as well.
they were, but at the same time, I felt like the offense was there for, or the opportunities were there for both teams.
It was, yes, but the goaltenders on both sides, I think, really kind of kept it
They
on the
did.
down low. But yeah, like you said, on both sides, for sure, the offense was kind of firing on all cylinders in that first period. Second period though was all Spokane.
Yes.
This is the kind of hockey that we like to see from this team that
And
we
we've
know
been
that they're
missing.
capable of doing. Um, Sam Oremba with his fifth goal of the season, 2.5 into the period, and then Chase Harrington would get his seventh of the year 5 minutes later, and then 5 minutes after that, Owen Martin with his third of the year, which would end up being the game-winning goal. The Chiefs take a 4-1 lead after the second period, out shooting Portland 16-5 in that second period. Um, Watching that game, um, watching the difference in how the team was playing as a whole in that game compared to the game against Prince Albert, what did you see?
Just what scoring a little bit and getting one early does, and for the confidence, everybody had that look that they were confident. They looked like the Chiefs team from back the month before too. They just had the confidence. They didn't look dejected, like oh here we go again type thing. They skated and did everything with a lot more confidence. Like it's time to go score. And as us watching, you felt like that was accurate. That was going to happen.
Yeah, so and to go back to something that I said a few weeks ago too, when this team was really struggling, I said, you know, if in times like this where your team is really kind of going through it and everything too, your top guys need to be your top guys and your scorers need to be your scorers. And in this second period, our scorers were our scorers. And
They,
that's exactly what we needed to kind of
hmm
push ourselves over the edge out of this little slump that we're in. Samuel Ramba, Chase Harrington, Owen Martin, those are our guys right now. I mean, those are our top goal scorers right now.
exactly.
And they need to be that. They're the most veteran guys on the team, essentially. And so they need to be the guys that are putting the puck in the net and burying those greasy opportunities. And yeah, Chase Harrington's and Owen Martin's were just great shots because those two guys I think have the best shot in the team, both of them combined, other than
Yes.
Mathis Preston.
Yeah.
But Sam Oremba, you know, gets cleaning up the garbage out front and everything too, and he's got some good hands. It's a good shot as well from distance. So those guys need to be your top guys, and they were in that second period.
Sammy, the wily veteran on the team.
Yeah, I mean he's finally starting to wake up a little bit, I think. He had a really hot start to the year and then
I
kind
would
of
say he
slowed
started
down,
very
but
good. Yes.
um and then we go into the third period and the Chiefs kind of take their foot off the gas again.
A little bit.
Not too bad, but did get into some penalty trouble in the third period that didn't help. But
Which remains an issue, I feel like.
yeah, definitely. That being said, though, um, where was it? I lost my spot here. Oh, Chiefs would still lead 4-1 with about 5 minutes to go in the third period. Um, Nathan Brown for Portland get his sixth goal of the year to get within two, and then Portland would pull the goalie on the power play just over 2 minutes later, and Ryan Miller would score his sixth of the year to get Portland back within one. And then it got really scary from there. I'm thinking, like, Jesus
I
Christ, you
was just
guys.
going to
Because,
say, what were you thinking at that point?
well, I was thinking that we were just going to have a monumental collapse and give up 4 goals in the final 5 minutes of the third period. But they got that one with the goalie pulled, and then they got a power play opportunity on, you know, a penalty that I didn't necessarily agree with. They called Oremba for slashing. I didn't really see anything that
No,
would have warranted a penalty, especially at that stage in the game. But I feel like from the last 3 minutes or so on, Portland had all possession of the puck and looked pretty determined to tie the game up. And man, it was close. It
it
was really
was.
close. As time expired, Portland put the puck in the net, and thankfully, it was about a half a second before the goal crossed the line when the buzzer went off.
Did you? I never did see a replay on that. Was that close?
It was about a half a second. And so the Chiefs narrowly escape with a 4-3 victory to break up their 3 game losing streak and a huge bounce back win from the game that they had against Prince Albert and Kamloops
Agreed.
earlier
And
in the week.
importantly, to a division game,
Exactly. And goaltending. The goaltending woke back up. Linus Viard kind of stepped back up and made 37 saves. Or 34 saves, sorry. I thought he had a hell of a game and he made
he
some
did.
clutch saves. He stopped a couple of breakaways.
He did.
He looked really good. I think at least for right now, I think this team needs to be leaning on Linus Viard a little bit in net.
Yeah,
Not to take anything away from Carter Essler, but I think, you know, he's got some minor things to kind of figure out. It might just be kind of a mental game with him right now.
I
But
hadn't even thought about the goaltending and who to go with and who's the guy.
yeah, I think Linus Viard is the right option, at least at this point in time. Because we don't have, I wouldn't say we have a set in stone number one goaltender, but
No, we don't.
I think right now we should be leaning a little bit more on Linus than Essler. Uh, you know, just based off of how they've been playing as of late, mainly.
Do you suppose with World Juniors coming up that has a factor or anything in terms of amount of play for our goaltenders?
I don't know. I don't think the Chiefs really care. Like, I don't think the Chiefs really care if they're, you know, riding one guy or not in regards to World Juniors, but because obviously Linus is going to be off with Germany,
That's what I
so.
mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should be leaning on him a little bit more heavily than Essler right now, at least till Essler can kind of get it all figured out again and get back to the goalie he was in the first
And he
2 weeks of
will.
the season. Oh, absolutely. We know it's there. And then we got our first game coming up here Friday against the Penticton V's up in
I've
Penticton.
been waiting to see those guys play.
Off to a really hot start this
They
year,
are.
which is interesting. Not something that you typically see from an expansion team, but um, you look at their 9-6-1-2 record, their 4-4-1-1 in their last 10. Um, let's see, 5-5 on home ice. They got a really good road record as well. They're 4-1 on the road.
Oh
So
wow,
we're playing them up in Penticton though. So um,
that's all right.
24.5% in the power play. Chiefs are sitting at 8.2% on the
I
power
was
play
going to
right
ask
now.
you, are we double digits yet? I didn't think we were.
We're 6 for 73.
Wow.
So we've gotten a lot of power plays. We just can't score on them. That's the thing
Mm-hmm.
that's, Penticton's 15 for 61, which isn't necessarily fantastic either, but
No.
and then their penalty kill is 84 point or 83.5%. And our penalty kill is 76.6. So special teams still a little bit of an issue, but I'm hoping that they can kind of figure that out a little bit. Um, Big game against Penticton. I mean, it's the first time we've seen them this year, and they got
And
a couple of guys on there that
a
could
road
really
game too,
make some
which we are
noise.
better on. We just talked about.
Yeah, 6-3-0 on the road, 3-6-0 at home. So, um, I definitely kind of want this team to be playing on the road for a little while.
Me
Obviously,
too.
I love going to the games and watching and analyzing and everything there too. But I'd much rather us win and play on the road. If they're gonna win on the road, then let's
Exactly.
stay on the road. So yeah, Friday against Penticton. Next night we're in Kelowna, and then back home for a 3-game homestand. So. Going into this game against Penticton, what do you think we need to do to be successful against a pretty solid team in Penticton?
I'm hoping we can play a little more free and not have our hands on the stick so tight since we got a victory the other night too. They've been playing a little bit tight, I feel like, with the way the record had been going. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they can free themselves up a little bit. And again, I expect it being on the road.
Yeah.
So I expect good things. I expect two good victories is what I expect.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think
Maybe I'm just hoping for that, but that's what I expect. I'm
trying to
anxious to
pull up
see Penticton
the
play, though. I
report.
am, or maybe not anxious, but curious.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see them play too. I mean, they've had some really, really good games so far this year.
They
I
have,
mean, they fed Everett that 7-0 loss on home ice too. So
yeah.
yeah, going into this weekend, I think two pretty big games. Obviously, they're not in the U.S. division, but they're in the Western Conference, so it's just as important.
Hmm.
Kelowna just keeps adding to their roster too. We play them on Saturday.
And I feel like they're important to our growth as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see Kelowna play too.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've made some more acquisitions since we played them the second game of the
Hmm.
season, so they're gonna have a little bit different of a look. I still Real quick, let's talk about Kelowna a little bit because
Okay,
I have some thoughts on what the Rockets are doing right now.
okay.
Um, I don't understand how they have any draft picks left.
I don't either. It seems like they're using them every 3 days. They're using up a handful more.
I hold on, I just closed out of my internet browser, but I'm gonna pull it back up real
Do you
quick
agree with
because
that?
sorry, say it again.
I feel like every 3 days they're using up a handful more.
Yeah, and
Do,
it's
do,
weird because
do you remember when we thought when Wenatchee had too many
or they had too little.
or too? Excuse me. Yes, they were giving up too many
Yeah.
and stuff too. It's the opposite of that for Kelowna for sure. They just
Well,
almost like they pull them out of the woodwork or out of the ice, maybe not woodwork.
my internet or my computer is having a little freak out here. Yeah, I'm pulling up all the trades that they've made. I mean, it's insane.
They're active like
Well,
every like I said every 3 days.
and here's the thing with the Rockets right now, with how they started the year and with them hosting the Memorial Cup this year, they have to be active because
They do.
quite frankly, I still don't think that they have the roster to get it done.
I don't either.
And that's with all these acquisitions too. Um, I think with the mistake that they're making is they're taking all these top guys from all these different teams, making all these trades to kind of just put together like a super team. But I don't think this super team can fit in together and play as a team and kind of get the right thing, get things done the right way to get into the Memorial Cup,
But this might be the time
successfully.
of year to test that and give them time to come together too.
Well, yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why they're getting all these moves done super early. I wouldn't be shocked to see, them make a handful more trades at the trade deadline. I'm sure it's
Hmm.
going to happen, but they're at the point now where they've started to have to give up, actual players for some of these
Not
players too,
not
as
just draft
opposed to
picks.
just
Yes.
draft picks. Um, like the one that they had the other day, they traded Caden Longley, Grayson Bauer, a 2026 first, 2027 third, which was Spokane's pick from the Andrew Crystal trade last year. 2026 fourth, 2028 fourth, and a 2026 sixth rounder to Lethbridge in exchange for Wojtek Sihar, who's a LA Kings prospect, and Shane Smith, who is the captain of Lethbridge. So
Oh wow.
they got a couple of extra acquisitions there that have a lot of WHL experience. Shane Smith has 223 games under his belt. Um, and then the Czech import forward, who's LA Kings pick, is drafted second round, 59th overall last year, so or 2 years ago rather.
How often do you
Um,
see a team trade their captain? Not very often.
yeah, not a lot. But then the one that they had another one, at the end of October, about a week and a half ago, they traded defenseman Jackson Gillespie, 2027 first, 2026 fourth and second, and then a 2029 fourth and second to Swift Current in exchange for Penguins prospect defenseman Peyton Kettles. So, I mean, I just think that this, at least from my point of view, I think it makes the WHL look kind of bad
Kind of
it to
trashy.
an extent, and I feel like it makes the CHL look bad for allowing Kelowna to be selected as the Memorial Cup host when they had a rough year last year. They're off to another rough start this year, and they're panicking at this point, and they're trying
Hmm.
to make all these acquisitions that who knows if it's even going to pan out. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I part of me hopes that they make me eat my words and shuts me up, but. I don't know, man. Let's be honest here. If Berkeley Catton were to come back to Spokane at the rate that the Spokane's playing right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kelowna make a push to trade for him too if he were to come back to the WHL.
Get another player, yeah, to fill out their
I mean, I
roster.
I would not be shocked to see that at all. But I mean,
I have a
um,
feeling they're probably going to try to get somebody with superstar quality to get on their team
well, they
for
kind
the
of have to,
M Cup. Yeah, I,
So
I'm with you. I don't think they can just sit back and see how their team that they have now gels. I feel like they're going to have to quote unquote buy themselves more of a team.
yeah, for
I
sure.
agree with that.
And while we were talking about it here, Berkeley Catton playing in his 10th NHL game with Seattle, burning the first year of his
Congrats,
ELC.
Burke.
So awesome stuff for him. I think he's looked great up with Seattle. They
Yes.
play again tonight at 7, I
Do
believe.
they?
So they
Good.
will probably get to see him once again in action. So at least it's a looking a lot less likely now that we're going to end up getting him back. So kind of look for that too to maybe have a little bit of effect on Chiefs play, knowing that they gotta really step their shit up now because they're not getting their captain back.
Can't fall back on that. Yeah, I agree.
Um, Obviously, it is still possible for him to come back, but like I said, it's a lot less likely. I think the only way that it happens is if he gets injured, or
Which we don't want.
either that, or Seattle just hits a really rough stretch and they're not going to make the playoffs. And if Berkeley's played under 40 games, he's still eligible to be sent down without becoming an unrestricted free
Oh,
agent in
really?
the
Is that how it works?
NHL. I just learned that the other day, actually.
I did not know that.
So as long as you play under 40 games, you can still be sent down without being an unrestricted free agent at the beginning of the following season.
Interesting.
So 1 year of his contract is burned, and right, honestly, I think he's right. He's getting the chances. He looks great out there with Seattle. So
He
I'm
does. He
super
does.
stoked for him. Kid deserves it. Obviously, it's a bummer for Chiefs fans, but realistically, it's a developmental league for a reason, and your organization kind of boosted this guy up to playing full time in the NHL in 19 is something to be proud of too.
Agreed.
So yeah, congrats to Burke. That's awesome, and look forward to watching him play the rest of the year. And
Me
I'm
too.
sure he'll still end up playing for Team Canada at World Juniors
I
too.
would think so.
So,
I would think so.
all right, what do you got for me?
Well, we posted on you made the mistake of giving me some admin credentials for the Chiefs Central Instagram page.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can pull this up without losing our video feed here too.
Just do what you did before we started.
Okay. See if I can remember that. Let's test my brain a little bit.
Screen sharing.
Share screen. Got to pull it up first, though, right? Or just start it and pull it up.
Yeah.
Start broadcast.
Screen share. Share screen. There you go.
Now I got to go to the screen that I was trying to share.
It's on Instagram.
Got to go back to it here.
I never thought there would
What is high sticking?
I never thought there would come a day where I would have to walk you through tech stuff.
I know. My old brain.
Here, I'll give you a hint here. Close out of the stories.
Okay. Okay.
Hit the heart
Okay.
and then click one of the responses.
Oh, there we go. That is a hint. Thank you.
Yeah, click one of the responses and then it should pull the whole page up. There you go.
So we asked a question on our Instagram. We asked actually several questions.
What was the question that you had in the
Just for thoughts and
story?
just thoughts and comments on what was it? Oh, let me go back to that. Some questions we had for this week's podcast. What's going on with the Chiefs team right now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Cat will make a difference if he comes back? And do you want him to come back? Is it panic time yet? Did you foresee the Chiefs being less than a 500 team at this point of the season? And what needs to happen to pull the Chiefs out of the slump?
Gotcha. So pull up some of those responses and questions there. We can give our thoughts.
All right. Somebody responded back, long time listener, first time caller. Ha ha ha. They say it's time to panic. Who should be on the traded block? I don't think anybody needs to be traded yet.
I think it's still too early to be making
Agreed.
those decisions. I'm gonna be honest, I was at a point last week where I was almost thinking, okay, I'm kind of starting to panic a little bit. Um, but after watching their game against Portland this week, and then got the next couple of games on the road too, I don't think it's time to panic yet.
Me either, but it's
So
me either.
so obviously there's some red flags here that we gotta kind of get under control, but um, realistically, I think there's still so much season left that we don't need to be making any, trade decisions necessarily yet. We're still in the race. We're still tied for second place with Portland in the U.S. division. We don't have any reason to panic. We're still fifth in the conference, holding a playoff spot. Granted, it is the middle of November, but we're still in a playoff
Still
spot.
playoff spot, yeah.
So unless we really start to fall off between now and the trade deadline, Don't panic, Chiefs fans.
which I don't
Don't
think is going to
panic.
happen. I think there's nowhere to go but up. I think we're just going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was from a Lillian Coleman question, and she also asked who's in charge of the power play and how fast can we fire them?
It's funny. It's funny because the who's in charge of the power play is the same person that was in charge of the power play last year when we had the number one power play in the league.
Exactly.
I don't think it has to do with the system that they're running. I think the system
No.
that they're running is fine. I think it's just the personnel they have out there not
Mm-hmm.
doing what they should be doing.
And I think a little
Um,
streak of bad luck too.
and bad luck too. Yeah, you got to be lucky to be good, and you got to be good to be lucky.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But let's say they move a guy around to a different spot, substitute one guy. Like personally, I don't, and this is just me. Other people might have differing opinions. I don't like Will McIsaac on that second power play unit. First power play unit, they got Owen Shetler, or not Owen Shetler, sorry, Rhett Sather
Say
up
there.
there. And I think he's doing fine. Sather, Harry, Preston, and Sarkinov front of the net, and some Oremba in the bumper. Um, I think Owen Shetler needs to be on that power
I
play,
agree
that
with
second
that.
power play unit. You know,
I agree with that.
he was on the second unit last year and he looked confident and comfortable out there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why he's not on that right now. I know Will McIsaac's got a year of experience on Shetler, but I don't necessarily trust McIsaac with the puck as much as I do Shetler.
I can agree with that.
So realistically, I think if we're going to change the power play, it needs to just be something small like switching one guy out or moving a guy around to a different spot on the system.
I'm agree with all that. Somebody asked, it says Berkeley Catton's time as a Spokane Chief. I don't think they're questioning or if they're just commenting. What do we think of his time as a chief or how much longer he's going to be a chief? I don't know what that question means.
Um, yeah, I mean, well, let's think about it. I mean, he came in at the Chiefs were absolute dog water the year before he came in. The Chiefs got lucky and got that first overall
They did.
pick and I don't think it was any question who we were going to take at that point. We knew that
No.
there's this stud playing for the Saskatoon Contacts and Shattuck St. Mary's that um is going to be coming into the WHL. You look at his his stats and his track record coming up, it's like, man, we're gonna get a good one. And he came in and played five regular season games as a 15-year-old. And then here's how I knew that they were really high on this kid is the fact that the Chiefs got in squeaked into the playoffs that year.
Mm-hmm.
Berkeley Catton as a 15-year-old played on the third line center all
Yes,
four games that we played in the playoffs that year, and he looked good. He
he
looked
did.
too good out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this kid's special. Comes in as a 16-year-old and puts up, 20 plus goals, and he had like 40 assists or something like that his first year. And then from then on, I mean that his 17-year-old year, his draft year with, him playing with Connor Roulette, 54
Mm-hmm.
goals and however many assists, drafted eighth overall by the Kraken, and then obviously last year came in and was our captain and was one of the best damn leaders and goal scorers in the WHL again. So I think personally, I think it's and yeah, he
Let's
still
not forget he was a
potentially
guest on this podcast too.
true. He could potentially still come back at some point. Who knows what's going to happen? You never know. Never say never. But even if he doesn't at this point in time, I still think he's one of the greatest Spokane Chiefs of all time.
I agree.
So
I agree. Top three for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Going back a lot of years to get to the other two,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to be honest.
Falloon and Whitney.
Yep. There's other ones in there too, but it's
Yeah.
not in that top, not in that level of the mountain.
Do you have any thoughts on his time as a Chief?
It's been fun to watch. It's been knowing what he was potentially going to end up being and being an NHL draft pick and knowing that feeling that a couple years ago and be able to see how he's progressed and how he made a sorry, Chiefs fans, a very dismal Spokane Chiefs team, more fun to watch and
Hmm.
is big impact for sure. When his time is done as a Spokane Chief, we're going to be able to all look back and say, "Wow, we got to see that kid play."
And here's the best part is something you've talked about quite a bit too. Majority of Chiefs fans are Seattle Kraken fans too. We're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna, we're not gonna stop watching this kid play. We're still
Not at
gonna have a
all.
great chance to watch him play all the time. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the line, the Kraken play another preseason game in Spokane.
Exactly.
You
I
know,
can see
and
it
then
happening.
and then if not, he's just 4 hours across the state. So
Yeah. We're definitely being treated to something very special.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you ask there?
I asked a question. Your favorite current chief?
I'll let you go first.
You
Actually,
know
I
who
think I
mine.
know your answer
You know
already.
my answer.
Oh man, you can't put me on the spot. I should have looked at these questions before we started.
That's okay. My favorite chief, right, and has been for since last year, honestly. And I pull for him every game. And when he does something wonderful on the ice that helps the team, especially, he's not about personal accolades of any kind. Is Sarky?
Yeah.
That kid is all passion and is all in for his team, and I like the little things he does. A very well rounded game, and for a big guy, the one thing I would like to see, definitely like to see him, like we talked about a little bit ago, lose his shit a little more often out there.
Hmm.
He's a big guy. I think he can be utilized in a much more intimidating fashion. I'd like
Hmm.
to see him get that opportunity, not be a thug by any means, but just use his size and just be intimidating out there. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you can't go wrong with Sarky. I mean, he's one of the best all-around players in the WHL. Um, Personally, I got two picks here because
Okay,
I can't narrow it down.
you can pick two.
If we're talking current Chiefs, like as of this year, I would have to say I think one of my favorite up and comers is Gavin Burkar.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like watching him play. He's smart, skates with his head up, really good with the puck, doesn't do anything stupid, does the simple plays, but does it really well. He's quick, got a great shot. I think that he's a guy that if he can really if he gets the opportunity, he can really make some noise for this team and kind of fill in some of the goal scoring that we lost from last year. And then if we're talking all around hockey players, I mean, Coco Armstrong has just been so
I was
good
just
this.
writing down a note right here on that one too. Yes,
Yeah, Coco Armstrong has just been so consistent this year so far. I think he's got 6 goals already. He's like second on the team in goal scoring. Gritty guy, kind of. I feel like he's gained a little bit more of an edge to his game now that Cam Parr got traded away as well. Um,
but a controlled edge.
Exactly. He's more of a verbal pest out there and
Mm-hmm.
he's still getting in guys' faces, scoring goals, doing all the right things, gets in. He's one of the best forecheckers in the
That's
WHL.
what the note I just wrote down to remember to talk about him. I just wrote the word forecheck.
His forecheck is the best in the WHL. I mean,
It was last year too.
yeah, absolutely. And he's made a handful of plays this year that have led to goals directly after, stealing the puck on the forecheck. I think he has really impressed me this year, and I'm so if I had to pick two, it would be between those two for sure.
And for those that know us, they know that we're both Seinfeld fans. And being that his name is Coco, if you watch Seinfeld at all, you'll get this reference. We call him T-Bone because there's an episode where they make reference to Coco the monkey, and so we talk about him as being T-Bone, and they give in the Seinfeld episode, and they give him the nickname T-Bone, so we call Coco T-Bone.
That's right.
So we need to get a T-Bone theme night for a Chiefs game.
God. Well, they did a Seinfeld night a few years ago, so I
We
mean they
need to
could
do that again. I feel like.
yeah, we need to talk to Jay Stewart.
Come on, Jay. I know Jay probably doesn't watch the podcast though.
No.
All right. That so we the favorite chief, and then Maya Lynn asked about defensive lines. I don't know if they want us to give our
Probably
ideal.
our opinions on the defensive lines.
I think the defensive lines are good right now.
Yeah, I don't think anything really needs to change
There doesn't
defensively.
need to be a tweak on those at all. I don't agree. I agree. They don't. Um, and Abigail Roberts just asked a little bit ago, is our most recent submission. Do you think the Chiefs need an enforcer and a superstar scorer?
Well, I personally think the enforcer's time in hockey is come and gone. Obviously, there's still some guys up in the NHL and stuff that are,
At the
more
junior
known
level,
for
I agree.
their,
I agree.
in the NHL, they're more known for their fighting and everything like, Ryan Reeves
Right.
and then there's some newer guys too that I think play with more of an edge. But let's be honest here and say the enforcer. When I think enforcer, I think Scott Stevens, I
Right.
think Claude Lemieux,
Mm-hmm.
Darren McCarty, guys like that. What's his name? Rafi Torres,
And in Chiefs lore, I go with Mick Vukota,
Miles Stays.
Miles Stays
Yeah, absolutely. So guys that are brought in specifically for their
for
physical and their
and,
fighting.
and to be intimidating. Yes,
Exactly.
which we touched on just a few minutes ago about Sarkey. I think he's intimidating without being an enforcer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think the enforcer role has evolved over time to where it's guys that are really good hockey players and they're skilled and they can do all the right things and all the little things. They just play with much more of an edge and grit to their game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to drop the gloves if they need to. And I think that I would like to see a little bit more of that from this Chiefs team, but I don't think we necessarily need to make any specific acquisitions to get a guy that'll do that. Because I mean, we had Cam Parr,
Right.
obviously, he was like that, but he's one of those guys, like I was just saying, that is does all the little things right. He's actually a good hockey player too. He just knows his role, and I think Coco Armstrong is doing a good job of doing that right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I'd like to see a little bit more of that from this team for sure.
Do you think we need a superstar scorer?
I don't know. I realistically, I want to say yeah because everybody likes having that a guy on their team that can put up 50 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't know if this Chiefs team is capable of getting to a point where they're able to like justify an acquisition of a superstar scorer, if that makes sense.
It does to me. I
I hope
like
that
the
they do get to that point.
I like the team concept better than an individual for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the 07-08 roster, Memorial Cup roster, we had Drayson Bowman, who was, a 40 plus goal scorer. He might have
Mm-hmm.
even gotten to 50 that year. But but if you look at like the all-around team that we had, I mean, they were so complete. It was such a complete roster. And
Agreed.
realistically, I think last year we had a very, very complete
I
roster
do
too.
too.
That team was
E-
special.
Even though we had the guys we had on the first line, I agree with that.
The fact of the matter is we just ran into a team that had an even better all around roster and Medicine Hat. But I d- I wish you had a superstar scorer. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I don't know. I hope that this team can play well enough coming into the trade deadline here in a couple of months to where we can justify making a trade for a guy like that.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts.
Let's develop it, players like that instead of buying them or
Exactly.
trading for them. Yes,
And here's the thing is we have those players.
we do. I agree.
We do.
I was
Mathis
just
Preston is
I was
is
just gonna say that.
Mathis Preston is more than capable of scoring 40 goals this
Mm-hmm.
season.
Mm-hmm.
He's off to a slower start. Obviously, we thought he'd be a little bit more along right now, but we thought the same way with everybody on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they'll get to a point where
We're going to look
he'll
back in
do
a
that.
couple of
But
years at these young players and say, "Well, remember when we thought more, and look what they're doing now." Just what we predicted. I
yeah,
feel like that's going to
yeah.
happen.
My final thing that I'll say on that topic is I would much rather have five or six 20 plus goal scorers than 150 goal scorer.
I agree with that because this is something we've been lucky with, but because sometimes injuries do happen too.
Yeah.
We've been lucky to not have any thus far.
Now that being said though, we do still have two 20-year-old spots open And
Yes.
I think if we were to acquire a veteran, WHL veteran from somewhere, it doesn't matter if it's on, a trade or waivers or anything like that too. And here's another thing that I think a lot of fans don't realize is if you're 20 years old in the CHL and you get released from your roster, or in the OHL, Quebec League, and the WHL, you can sign with any team in any three of those leagues.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
So yeah, well, if you remember Bailey Birkin from a few years back, where the Chiefs
Right.
released him as a 20-year-old, and he went and played in the OHL the
That's
next
right.
year.
That's right.
And then what was that guy's name in Victoria a couple years ago who came over from the Q? So they had a guy that came over from the Q a few years back, and he lit it up with Victoria. But we could always do that and get a guy off of waivers from the OHL or the Quebec League to a 20-year-old.
And
So
I still could see something. I mean, not saying it's going to happen with us, but just in the league too. Somebody playing in the NCAA
coming back,
coming
yeah,
back because
absolutely.
we're starting to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean I think there's still the missing pieces. I think that Bardsley's smart enough to fill the missing pieces. And
Mm-hmm.
I would not be shocked to see a trade here before the end of the fiscal year.
No, I agree.
So
How long have you been waiting to put the word fiscal in a
I
podcast?
guess I technically meant to say calendar year, but I
I
was talking about a fiscal year at work today, and so
okay.
that's kind of where that came from.
I thought we were
I
talking.
was hoping you would kind of just brush by that.
I thought we were talking about tariffs for a minute there.
No, no.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
All
all
right.
I got for you.
Well, perfect. Thanks for linking me up to the Instagram, and we'll do more of that in the more posts in the future and get some thoughts from some of the followers of the pod. That'll be nice to do.
Oh, I thought, like I told you, you're better with social media stuff than I am.
Yeah,
So,
it kind of takes me back because I did so much with the golf pages that I've done in the past between the golf course at Downriver and I did Esmeralda is when I first started doing it.
yeah,
It's nice to get back into doing that kind of stuff too. So another presence we can have on there is have input from multiple people on the podcast and everything, which is nice. TC,
exactly.
TC's been awesome about contributing and helping us out too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll definitely keep this up and try to get more of a social media imprint out there and getting a lot of interactions with some current Chiefs players on the Instagram account, which is nice. See
Hmm.
if we can't get one of them to do a little interview on a podcast coming up at some point.
Yep,
Again, get some new blood in there, both on our end and on fan end.
for sure.
All right. Until next week,
All right, till next week.
go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.